Welcome to All Things Home Care with Dana Arnone. I'm your host, Dana Arnone, a registered nurse with 30 years of home health care experience. Today, we're going to kick things off by going out into the community in a segment that we call Out and About with Dana. So let's take a look. We are out and about today, and we are in Deer Park visiting with some families about pet therapy. I'm sitting here with Terry. She is the director of Therapy Dogs of Long Island, and you know, this is something that we've been discussing. I'm very passionate about. I have 3 dogs of my own. I know the love and the feeling that I get from my dog. So I just want to talk a little bit about your organization, how it came about.
Okay, so I started to get certified because I have a grandniece who was born with a smooth brain. And so I got 2 dogs, Barbie and Kent, to get certified with Pet Partners. We went to, got certified, we went to St. Mary's Hospital for Children to visit her. Lily with a smooth brain, it's less than a 3-month-old mentally, she can't see, very low functioning. So by the time we got in there, she was 4 years old, and they had everybody standing around. She was in a wheelchair. I took her hand, put it on Ken's head, and she just started processing right away, and everybody freaked out. And we've been visiting there every week since. While going there, there was this little boy, Lawrence, about 8 or 9, in a wheelchair with a degenerative disease. He would be crying when we went there. He'd see the dog, tears were gone, laughter, he'd be playing with the dog. And each time we would go there, the same thing would happen. He would be crying, or, oh, he's not gonna come out of his room, and he sees the dogs, he's out and about and having fun and laughing. And then one time we went there and he was gone. He had gone home. And the organization that I was with, certified with, did not do home visits. So I decided to do my own, start Therapy Dogs of Long Island, and we do home visits, you know, also institutions.
So I'm just curious, what makes a dog that type of therapy dog?
It's the temperament. So they're submissive to humans. If you accidentally stepped on his tail or his foot, he's not going to turn around and snap. He'll cry, but he won't turn around and snap. Even though the dog is a good-tempered dog, you wouldn't want a dog that gets stressed out by going in the car or going into buildings with automatic doors and wheelchairs and things like that. So you do have to get the dogs used to it.
So what does a visit look like?
So if he goes to a home, he just goes over and socializes with the patient. But they feel the love, and he feels the love also.
Yeah.
It increases the good hormones. It reduces anxiety and blood pressure, but for the dog also.
And how long has he been doing this?
3 years.
3 years. Is there a retirement for Carmen? Like, is there?
You wouldn't take a dog that it was painful for them to visit, or if they didn't enjoy visiting anymore, which would probably be pain, because they love to visit.
Yeah.
You can't make a dog do this.
You're so cute.
They have to love it.
Yeah. So how does somebody go about finding you, and how does this work out?
So it's therapydogsoflongisland.org, and they just call us, and we talk, we find out what the situation is. I would make sure that there's no other animal in the house, because that would distract a dog from visiting. And then, you know, just talk to them about what a visit is like, make sure that the aide is not afraid of the dogs, because that is sometimes a problem.
That is a big problem. So is there do you visit all of Long Island, Suffolk County? Like, is there places that you don't go to?
We don't have a brick and mortar. So if there's a volunteer in, you know, Glen Cove, then we'll do all the visits that are around that area. It just depends. And we've lost a lot from COVID. A lot of people have not come back, a lot of handlers. But we have some great handlers that will do multiple visits, you know, so that's kind of making up. We just have really good volunteers right now.
And there's a cost related to the visit?
Yes, we charge $30 a visit. And the visit can usually last up to an hour. Obviously, Georgina has, you know, stayed here much, much longer. But the dog is comfortable, she's comfortable, so, you know, it works out better. But it depends. I mean, I've gone to hospice visits, and it was 15, 20 minutes because the patient just couldn't do anymore.
But I'm finding also that the handler is just as important as the dog. So,
Absolutely.
And the handler owns the dog? It's their dog?
Sometimes. Most of the times that's the case. But like I had a lot of people certified with my dogs because I had multiple dogs. So I would take somebody else with me. We have dogs that are in schools, and they are certified with multiple teachers.
What does certified mean? Like, is it certified like the Seeing Eye Dog certified, or just?
Oh no, that's intense.
That's intense. This is more of a
No, this
okay.
is just regular obedience. We require that they have their Canine Good Citizens certificate, which is just sit, stay, come, walk on a loose leash, accept petting, walk by another dog, and then we have a class, and then I do a mentored visit to make sure every dog has a thing. They might like this, they might not like that, and just to go over it with the person, what signs the dog is giving to show that they are stressed, and then what you do to relieve the stress, and then you go back maybe to see if the dog can handle it again, because you do have to work your way up. The dog does have to get used to certain things.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like to me, especially during COVID, I know the isolation that homebound people have felt during this time. Just to have a visit from, an individual and a dog probably is like the highlight of, their time. So how often is a normal visit? Is it once a week, once every 2 weeks? So if someone calls up, is there a limit or a minimum and a maximum? It's whenever they want.
Whenever they want.
So when you're going to the schools, are you going to the schools where there's intervention with the kids, or like what is the focus of the pet therapy in the school?
So it depends on the school and what they want. So most of them are doing what they call stress busters. So we just go and the kids come and visit us. In the grammar schools, we're going to the classes, so we'll do 2 classes within an hour and just let the kids play. But you're always aware, like you ask the teacher, what do you want to accomplish? And if there's a child that's having a bad day, or you could just see who's not really participating in the class, pay a little extra attention, okay, you can, walk the dog around the class, you could do this, and I'll include them in whatever it is we're doing.
How could people contact you? Because I think that people are going to be interested in, seeing how they can maybe volunteer, maybe have their dogs
we need
get
more
certified.
volunteers.
Yeah. So how do they contact you?
Just therapydogsoflongisland.org.
Is there a phone number?
Yes, it's 631-346-0976.
I think it's wonderful, and I'm happy that people are actually reaching out there and trying to engage people on different ways. So I think this is great.
Absolutely,
Very
absolutely.
good. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to All Things Home Care. We are out and about with Dana Arnone, and I am sitting here today with Georgina and Ann. And Ann is the recipient of your visits here. So, Ann, let's just talk a little bit about what does that mean to you?
It means a lot, because when you're confined to a place in any home where you can't get movable, you need something to give you some kind of feelings, and feelings come from the heart. And when you bring an animal in to pet and you feel that love from the animal, you get what you need. So this dog gives you that feeling that I have something in life.
Obviously, you had dogs throughout your life. Were you a dog
Dogs, cats, birds. You mention anything we had except a horse in the house. And we loved any kind of dog that we could take in, or any cat that was on the street I'd bring home to my mom, and my mom would say, please don't bring any more cats in the house. I can't take it.
The next best thing, I guess, is having pet therapy come visit you with a dog, right? And that's where
Right.
Georgina comes.
Well, when someone like Georgina, who gives up her time to come and do what she's doing, gives me a lot of pleasure.
Do you
I'm
look forward
lucky
to it?
I have my daughter here all
Yeah.
the time, but there are people without anybody in their home.
Tell me about a normal visit.
As soon as Gina comes in with the dog, and I'm sitting here watching TV mostly, and I say, I'm tired of this TV, turn it off and let me talk to Regine. I get a pleasure out of the feeling that I have another human being to talk to. I'm not just sitting here like a lump and watching something that doesn't even interest me, maybe.
So for people that maybe feel the way you feel at times, because I'm sure there's lots of people out there that are alone, that don't even have their daughter to give them comfort or any type of socialization.
Exactly,
This-
exactly.
Having this visit means a lot to you.
Those are the people I really feel sorry for, because they don't even have anybody to care for them, to make them feel they're alive.
I know.
Give them some kind of hope that
You're
there is
killing me
some
right now, Ann.
help. And I know you people that do this kind of work, I don't know how you do it, because I know it's very difficult to keep from one place to another and do this kind of work. It's not easy.
So your normal day looks like what?
So there is work involved because the dog needs to be clean. He needs to be
He's
groomed.
very shiny. He's very soft.
I brush his teeth. I make sure his eyes are clean.
And then how many visits would you say you normally do as a volunteer?
I can do up to 4 visits a week. I have 5 women that I see in their homes, separately, of course. It's one visit a day. I would never put my dog through more than that because that's too taxing for them. He has to warm up to their personalities. One woman, her daughter was present at the time of the visit. He wasn't paying as much attention as she wanted him to. And he was paying attention to the aide. This is why I tell Ann all the time, Chiron will say hello to Ann, but go to Laura. Because the caretaker's level of stress is so great.
Oh, that's probably why he's sitting with me right now.
Exactly.
Oh,
A
thank you.
caretaker's life, a third of it is taken away if they don't take care of themselves. I know this because I've been there. This is why he was so adaptable into going into situations and environments that had difficult personalities, had equipment, doesn't faze him. My husband was in palliative care and I took him to visit him, and he had no problems with the nurse's station, with the bells, the alarms, the oxygen, the wheelchairs. No matter where we go, if he sees a wheelchair, a cane, or a walker, he immediately tugs on the leash. I need to go.
Oh, that's a special dog.
I had one experience, because he had one experience with a child of a friend of mine who's on the spectrum. He had never been with anybody with that. He walked up to him and then took a step back, which I've never seen him do, and then proceeded to take his head and go up and down the boy's
Oh, he was
body.
scanning him.
Yes, and after he did it, then he walked over to him, jumped up, put his paws on his shoulder and hugged him. So this is what you bring to the person who may be experiencing loneliness. They're debilitated, they can't do the level of activities that they used to do. So somebody coming in and talking to the individual, and the dog kissing Anne, rubbing up against her. I mean, this is what Chiron does. He comes in, he goes to the chair, and he goes right to Anne first.
Oh, so what made you want to, do this type of volunteering?
I'm an animal lover. I grew up in the city in an apartment, and we had all the animals. I kid you not, we had everything, including chickens.
Oh, my mother worked for a veterinarian's office. I was saying this before, and so my mother, anytime someone was coming to euthanize something, my mother took it home. So we had ducks, dogs, snakes, lizards. I mean, my mother really, we had a rooster, which didn't go over very well for a long time. So I can relate to my mother bringing home literally everything. I think the snake was the word that was when my father said enough.
When my husband was very ill, I decided I'm good. The next dog I get, I want him to be a therapy dog, if it's possible. And then I want to go back to the Veterans Hospital and give back to them.
I understand. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing you guys are doing. And Georgina, obviously you're a very special person.
Well, so are you people.
Is that a treat? Oh, oh, he sees it. Okay, well, I think that...
You know what I got, don't you?
Look at that.
Tell him to sit in.
Sit. Okay.
So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for the opportunity coming to your home and seeing how you interact with the dog. I am sure there's so many people out there that feel very similar to you, and you're going to help a lot of people. So they should call Long Island
we can't
Dogs.
live forever. Everybody knows that. But while we're alive, we like to have a little fun.
Of course. Of
And
course,
we're
I get
never
it.
too old for a little fun.
You're never too old, not
No.
at all.
I
And
get
you're never too
young
old for this
again.
type of conversation. So I do appreciate your time.
And I want you to know, when you lovely people, what work you're doing is very much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. But we thank you for your time, and we'll see you next time. Hi, welcome back to All Things Home Care with Dana Arnone. It's time for Ask Dana. Finding the right home care agency is one of the most important decisions that you'll make for you or your loved one. Before you make that decision, consider interviewing multiple agencies. Interviews are one of the best ways to get to know who you're hiring. You'll want a caregiver that is transparent, licensed, educated, skilled, and caring. To help make an educated decision, considering asking the following questions as related to who pays. Is any of this care provided through Medicare? Traditionally, Medicare is not a payer of home health aid services. They are a payer for skilled services like physical therapy, nursing, occupational therapy, and in some situations, you do get a home health aid, what they consider a bath aid under Medicare, which would be covered by your Medicare insurance, which means that there would be no out-of-pocket expense. But that is short-term and intermittent care, so just keep that in mind if you're looking for something that's more on a longer basis. What insurance plans do you accept? So there are some agencies that are strictly private pay. Usually your companion agencies are private pay. If you're going through a licensed agency, they do sometimes accept what's called long-term care insurance policies or catastrophic plans. All you would have to do is speak to that intake person, ask them if they accept or if they're licensed to accept any type of long-term care insurance. Usually when there is a long-term care policy, you have one or two ways that you can go about receiving your care. One is that you pay the agency and the agency gives you an invoice and you submit that invoice to your long-term care policy for reimbursement. Or in other situations, the agency is able to accept assignment of benefits on your behalf and bill for services rendered directly to the long-term care policy so that you don't have to have any out-of-pocket expenses. Another question, what is included with the services that are provided? Traditionally speaking, the aides that are being provided will bring their own meals. Sometimes the agencies will provide some gloves or masks right now for the workers, but the incontinency supplies are something that is paid for through the family, or sometimes if you have managed long-term care, the managed long-term care will give you incontinency supplies, or if you have Medicare, a lot of times you can qualify under Medicare with a doctor's prescription for in-home incontinency supplies. But regularly speaking, the home care workers will have to bring their meals. They will have to bring their get supplied gloves and masks to protect themselves as well as to protect their patients. Another thing that comes up often is what about transportation services that are sometimes needed for the aide to get to and from work, especially if families are afraid of exposure to COVID and that most of the workers are taking public transportation. One of the things that you may want to ask if there's any way that you could help support or pay for or contribute to some type of transportation service for your worker so that it'll make you feel more comfortable, the worker will feel more comfortable, and sometimes an agency will help provide that service for you. Another way to receive in-home services is through Community Medicaid, which is now through the managed long-term care. If you're looking for Community Medicaid, if you think that you're going to be needing services long-term in your home and that money is an issue, or that you think that the care is going to outlive your money, one of the things that you can do is call an agency and ask if they assist with Community Medicaid or that application process, because that is another payer source for in-home services. If you are thinking of Community Medicaid and that's the route that you feel is best for your families, you may want to talk to an elder attorney or your local Department of Social Services, because the laws are about to change for Community Medicaid. Where currently there is only a 3-month look-back period, it's going to be extended to a longer period of time. So if there is any thought that this might be something that you're interested in doing, I encourage you and implore you to please start calling now and get that information for you and your loved ones. Well, that's all the questions that we have for today. Please send any of these questions that you may have to info@allthingshomecare.org.
So I start my day this morning from 7:45. I have to take 3 buses. Waiting on the third bus, and I have to pay again. We started from 7:45, and now it's 20 minutes after 9. I'm still not at work as yet. And it's your third bus is here. If the second bus is late and I miss the third bus, I just take a Uber to work that I can get to my patient on time. Because sometimes they know, my patient know what time I get there, and if she don't see me, then she start to worry. But once I get to work, it's a blessing.
If Enid can't be here, I was a teacher, I can't leave the classroom to come and be here. It's disruptive to my mother's safety because my mother is mobile. I can tell her don't get out of bed and don't do things, but that doesn't mean she's going to do that. She's got a bad heart, and sometimes just getting up makes her dizzy. She's passed out before, so it's important that she be able to get here and be here on time. Think of the day that she puts in. If she's leaving at 7:30 in the morning, what time does she get up? Her day right now is 6.5 hours, 5 days a week. Add on 2.5 hours of travel to that on each end. How does that affect the person who takes care of my mother?
It's worse in Long Island. Some of the cases, there's no bus, so you have to take the Long Island Railroad, and you have to walk 15-20 minutes to get to the patient house. We don't get enough pay to take the Long Island Railroad because it's expensive.
Every day that she's here, my mother's life and my mother's safety is in her hands. She's taking care of a person who's got all 4 heart valves leak. She's got a weakened chamber in her heart. She's got a thickened chamber in her heart. She's got mild dementia. She's got arthritis. She's mobile. Enid keeps her mobile. Enid makes sure that in spite of the fact that she does not want to do it, she does her physical therapy every single day. It means everything. It means everything. That she be able to shorten her day. You're talking about 22 minutes each way. So 45 minutes, rounded off, as opposed to 5 hours. I feel this has become such an elitist issue that people don't understand that maybe because some of these health aides don't have a college degree, they may not have originated their life in this country, they may speak with an accent, but I feel like they don't value the job that Enid does and that health aides do. She takes care of my mother's personal cleanliness. I mean, things that other people wouldn't even want to do necessarily for their own loved ones. She cares for her like she would her mother. While they may not be important to you right now, they're important to millions of people across this country. And they are very valuable. They do incredible work for very little pay and for very little gratitude.
It was nice meeting you, but I have to go now to catch my bus. So you have a good evening.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of All Things Home Care with Dana Arnone. If you want to know more about the topics we covered today, or someone you know needs assistance, you can find numbers, links, and watch all of our episodes on our website, allthingshomecare.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And please always remember, there's no one more essential than those who come to care for us in our home. See you next time.
All Things Home Care elevates and supports home health caregivers by providing transportation and promoting education to better care for homebound seniors and the disabled. To find out more or to make a donation, visit us at allthingshomecare.org.